Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Psalm chapter 119, verses 130, 133, and 134. The interest of your words give light. It give understanding unto the simple. Order my steps in your word, and let not any lawlessness have dominion over me. Deliver me from the oppression of man. So will I keep your precepts.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, order my steps.
Order my Please, Father, order my steps. Need to keep in order.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby ye are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. If we are paying attention to some of the things that are happening in the news, we really have to start getting some things in order. We're going to have to figure out, what we call love, how we're going to operate in it. I put a post on to a few brothers the other day about Netanyahu did a speech in the UN, and he held up two pictures. One picture was called a blessing, and this is the land that he decides that he wants to take. And then the other picture was called a curse, and the curse was the land as it is. So it's a blessing if you listen to him and allow them to wipe out whoever they need to wipe out to build this new map that he has proposed, and it's a curse if you don't. We have been for so long allowed the people that control imagery to give us the idea of what love is, what a blessing is. I mean, before we really got into this book, we pretty much, and some of us still fight that a blessing to us is monetary possessions. So we think that anybody who has money is blessed, and anybody who does not have money is not. This is another form of the understanding that has been given to us here in the daughter of Babylon. But we see who that benefits. The adversary of the devil came to Yahshua, said, all of these things are given unto me, and I give it to whomever I will. So if he can make what he gives you called a blessing, then he automatically has you twisted and upside down, and you have no idea about it. So if that amount of twisting is going on, then there are things that we will forsake, believing that it's not love. And then those things that we will receive, thinking that it's love, and it is far from what it proclaims to be. You have heard that it has been said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he makes his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and send rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward have you? Do not even the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be you therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. And we understand that what we can do is definitely give it a perfect try in dealing with the things as it is written. But we also have to examine what we picked up here in the daughter of Babylon. There was a whole lot of things that we just, if you back up one generation, maybe even definitely two, but one, a lot of the displays that we were given and told about love didn't exist. There were times that you just didn't see certain things on television. It just did not happen. If you flip through just regular channels now and look at I Love Lucy, you're going to see two beds in the bedroom. The man was on one, the woman was on the other. There was a certain things that they just did not display. Today, you may see anything without any warning, any explanation, and they even show up on shows that have absolutely nothing to do with the subject matter. You may be watching a football show, and here comes a love scene. What that got to do with this? That has absolutely nothing to do with this subject matter. But if these powers that be know that they were going to turn everything upside down from the beginning, they have been working on corrupting our thought process for a very long time. Anybody who said Lamont Hill got fired for saying from the river to the sea, tell me if that you look at that map, what is he doing? So anybody who called this out before time was fired, they were ridiculed, and now he presents exactly that thing. So this whole agenda has been going on for quite some time. So then it benefited them to make sure that we didn't know the difference between what love was, so that when we did have it in front of us, we would reject it. Let's begin today's sermon in Judges chapter 16. So some of the help that we thought we were receiving during the times of civil rights was other people infiltrating our movement and finding out as much as they possibly could about the movement so that they can destroy it. Because now you have laws that says you can't boycott certain groups. Wait a minute. These are the individuals who so-called marched with us. But the whole time they're marching with us so they can get understanding of our plight, so they can understand how we do what we do. Then they turn around and pass laws saying that it's illegal to do that to them. Wait a minute. They own some of them same shops that we had to boycott. Now you pass laws that the very thing that they said they was a part of, now they pass laws to say that's illegal when either one of them is involved. So no matter how much evil is done, if they can get a ish involved in the process, now you can't sue or boycott. All because they got one business partner with a certain last name. Now we have to ask ourselves, how did this so-called, and everybody want to run out and go vote. Everybody want to go out and do all of these things. How did all of these people who claim they care about the country, how y'all let that get passed? What was your vote? Judges chapter 16, and let's start at verse 1.
Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate off the city, and the two posts, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of an hill that is before Hebron. And it came to pass afterward, that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the masters of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lies, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give you, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray you, wherein your great strength lies, and wherewith you might be bound to afflict you.
Now, what kind of love request wants to know how you can be destroyed? Why is that a love request? So Samson is already out of the way because of how he deals. I mean, he had a harlot before that. And now he just ran into another woman. He in love with her. Samson an easy lover. All right, let's just go ahead and let's put it out there. He's an easy lover. All right. So he already has an issue with how to deal with love. Now here's a love request. The request is, show me how you might be destroyed. What the hell you want to know that for? Why is that a request? Go ahead.
All the years of watching Superman, I don't think I've ever seen Lois Lane say, can you tell me what makes you weak?
Hey, and I tell you what she didn't do. She didn't have no little container of kryptonite in the nightstand just in case he got too super. Read.
And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Then the masters of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him,
now you have to understand how disrespectful this is right here. If they abiding in the chamber, man, they in the bedroom, bro. Mm-hmm. So you got just now, he's being pushed to prove his love. So now he has entered into idiot land right now, trying to prove his love. And he's trying to prove his love to a woman that got other men hiding in the bedroom. But he's strong, though. He got many muscles. But the main muscle ain't working. That main one ain't working. Go ahead.
The Philistines be upon you, Samson. And he brake the withs as a thread of tow is broken when it touches the fire. So his strength was not known.
Mm-hmm.
And Delilah said unto Samson, Behold, you have mocked me.
Now, here we have a problem. It's one thing to try to figure out what makes a man tick. It's something altogether different for you to exercise it and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And told me lies. Now tell me, I pray you, wherewith you might be bound. And he said unto her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon you, Samson. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, Hitherto you have mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me wherewith you might be bound. And he said unto her, If you weave it the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon you, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web. And she said unto him, How can you say, I love you?
How can you say I love you? So now he is in a competition with himself to prove his love to her. Go ahead.
When your heart is not with me, you have mocked me these 3 times, and have not told me wherewith your great strength lies. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There has not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto Elohim from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak, and be like any other man.
Right. And this time, of course, he did tell her all his heart, and she exercised it, and it, of course, came out horrible for him. Now, Delilah clearly had a motive in asking Samson to display his love for her. But what was her angle? Why did Samson feel obligated to display his love for her? Is it possible that both of these questions have the same answer? Could it have been the past harlots of Samson that were used to make him feel obligated to show how much he loved his current woman, which is Delilah? Now, this desire of showing and proving love produced a very violent outcome. Let's go to Galatians chapter 2. See, the entire world is being pushed right now to prove their love for the land of Israel. And Israel keeps pushing, going further and further and further. And then they keep showing up in front of a forum saying, Prove you love me, world. Y'all read the Bible? Do you love me? Well, show me you love me. Send me more cruise missiles. They're dropping bombs in neighborhoods. You know, there's a reason why that doesn't, normally happen in warfare. Because each one of them costs several millions of dollars. But if somebody is giving them to you, you can drop them anywhere. You can just drop them at the Kroger. You didn't pay for any of them. But when you have a price tag, I remember Chris Rock saying, you don't have to control guns. Just make each bullet like $1,000. Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna find nobody shooting in there. Brother might shoot you and go try to get the bullet out the same hole. Give me that back. No. When you have free weaponry, you can afford to drop it on a house They're dropping them in neighborhoods, houses. Why? They didn't pay for them. Guess what? You did. But the entire world is being asked, prove your love to me. Go ahead.
You know, and in the midst of him asking this prove, if people are paying attention, he comes into the whole situation showing disdain for whatever form it is. Because he told the UN point blank, I had no plans of coming here. Mm-hmm. But because some countries are telling lies, I showed up. I don't really care about y'all.
Right.
But I need to change the narrative.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's been about the whole time, controlling the narrative, making you believe what love is. If you don't do this, then you don't have love. And no matter how many times the push is, the people who are paying for the weapons are asking, all right, look, you're going too far. They're not listening to anybody, but accepting all weaponry. So when we deal with all of the genocide that's taking place, how much of that is going to be on our hands? Because we can sit here and say, you know, we didn't have nothing to do with it. But when you look at your check, you paid for that. And while we sit here real calm, what happens as they are starting a global conflict? What happened when they knock on your door and ask for your kid? And say your kid is now drafted to come and fight. Oh, does it get real then to us? Do it get real to you when little Junior got to go? Okay. Galatians chapter 2, and let's start that at verse 1.
Then 14 years after I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, and took Titus with me also, and I went up by revelation, and communicated unto them that gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run, or had run, in vain. Mm-hmm. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised, and that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty which we have in the Mashiach Yahshua, that they might bring us into bondage, to whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. But of these who seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, it makes no matters to me, Elohim accept no man's person. For they who seemed to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. Mm-hmm. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Cephas, for he that wrought effectually in Cephas to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles. And when Jacob, Cephas, and Johanan, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship.
Now, you have to be very careful when you are perceived to be one of the pillars, because your actions will validate some other things, whether you like it, know it, or try to do it anyway. And when Jacob, Cephas, and Johanan, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace, so that means other people are looking at you. Therein lies power and responsibility. Go ahead.
That we should go on to the heathen, and they on to the circumcision. Only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was forward to do. But when Cephas was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. For before that certain came from Jacob, he did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision. And the other Yehudims disassembled likewise with him.
So once a pillar did it and removed himself, saying, you know, I'll deal with these people, but not when other Jews looking at me. See? So here we go again. Now we need to display our love for one by being disrespectful to another. Keep going.
insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with their dissimulation.
Wait a minute now. So because you have a pillar that is operating in this way, and here's the problem. You may not perceive yourself to be a pillar. But it's not your appearance or vision of you that counts here. It's somebody else's. How do they see you? And when you pull back on something because, hey, I to display my love for somebody on the left, I need to be disrespectful to the one on the right. Now everybody else withdraws because you did it. Oh, now we got an issue now. Go ahead.
And it's even worse when my man who work with me, who got to work with me amongst the Gentiles, start doing it. Because now you done caused me a problem.
You have caused a problem on multiple levels. And see, we don't really consider that when we're dealing with our own personal situations, there's still works of the body that still has to happen. What happened? Now, this is a work of the body that is getting marred here. Go ahead.
When I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Cephas before them all, if you, being a Yehudi, liveth after the manner of Gentiles, and not as do the Yehudims, why compel you the Gentiles to live as do the Yehudims?
Now, the sad situation here is he says he has to say this to him before them all. Now, to anybody else, does this look heavily disrespectful? Because he's talking to the leader of the movement at this point. But the leader of the movement, to show his love for one group, has brought forth disdain on another group. Now, Cephas shows his love for Israel by displaying disgust toward the Gentiles. Although this may gain him favor with Israel, his actions have distorted Yahweh's overall plan of redemption for the entire body. We often get caught up playing the modern day game of love and throw shade on one member so we can show love to another member. This type of love will cause us to go to judgment because at the end of the day, one member has been harmed by our outward display of love toward another. If we throw shade on another in order to get the sun on ourselves, we have most definitely served ourselves of our brother or sister and indeed fed ourselves from another man's field. Whenever we show our love for one person or a group by throwing shade, we are dealing with inordinate affection. And I want you to read that definition there.
From G3806, pathos, from the alternate of G3958, properly suffering, pathos, that is, subjectively, a passion, especially concupiscence, inordinate affection, lust.
All right, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 23. See, we don't understand how one thing leads to another. We are shown all of these programs that give us this idea of what we think love is. And then the same individuals who control all of those programs now have come with their move after telling us and showing us what love is. Then they come and present what it is that they want to do and say, if you don't do this, you don't have love. How is it different from Delilah? And if we operate the same way, how are we different from Delilah? You know, and we'll get caught up in the shade throwing, you know. We in the mall. We see somebody that look nice. We're not gonna say they look nice, because you know we got to throw shade on that person to make sure that the one we with know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm with you, baby. She look nice. No, she look like trash. No, she don't. She's beautiful. Now, why can't you say she's beautiful without having some issues? It's the same thing if the woman see a guy. What, she got to act like she don't see the handsome guy? If so, then now there's a question of love here. Go ahead, bro.
You know, in the opening statement, Elder, you mentioned that these people who are now pushing this anti-Semitic movement was right there within our movement. So within our movement, did they learn how to set themselves up, or did they know within our movement that they could have put certain phrases that would have helped us as a people to say, if you do this to these people, then you're anti this, you're anti that. Let's block, boy.
They knew exactly what they were doing. They learned everything on how they were going to set up theirs by becoming close to ours. It was never about helping us. Matter of fact, it was that anti-help that told us to desegregate. They helped us desegregate while they never did any of that. They kept all their communities together. To this day, you go in once you see one of them, you see 50 of them. They bought everything in the neighborhood. The store is theirs, the school is theirs, the congregation is theirs. The only people who are desegregated in this entire country is us. Go find one Ethiopian, you're going to find 30. Go find one Sudanese individual, you're going to find 20 more. We are the only people that have been convinced to do that. Nobody else comes here and does that. Go ahead, brother. Ezekiel 23, let's read verses 9 through 11.
Wherefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, upon whom she doted.
I've delivered her into the hand of her lovers. See, once again, Israel don't know how to deal with love the correct way. Go ahead.
These discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters, and slew her with the sword. And she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her. And when her sister Aholibah saw this, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms.
All right, let's go to Colossians chapter 3. So this is not a new concept for Yahweh in dealing with Israel. Colossians chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 1 through 17.
Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. If you then be risen in Yahshua, seek those things which are above, where Yahshua sits on the right hand of Elohim. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth.
Now, when you have to prove your affection, and your affection of things on the earth, then how you prove that is going to be based upon the desires of the individual in front of you. Go ahead.
For you are dead, and your life is hid with Yahshua in Elohim. When Yahshua, who is our life, shall appear, then shall you also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth: fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. For which things' sake the wrath of Elohim comes on the children of disobedience, in the which you also walked sometime when you lived in them. But now you also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that you have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. Where there is neither Greek nor Yehudim, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Yahshua is all and in all.
Right. So then you consider the level of dissimulation that took place when now the brother speaks to one group of people until his people show up. And now he said, well, you know what? I ain't gonna speak to them. I'm not gonna do that in their presence. And we take part in bits and pieces of that. See, when Saul was amongst one of those group of people, when he had went and he's saying that there's no gods made with hands, those people, say, hey man, we make our money making these gods. We this is our craft. So to minimize him, they're gonna just keep shouting Diana over and over. See, these are ways that we get sucked in. See, to where, one person talking, and we're gonna overtalk that individual so we can show love for somebody else, which is exactly what they did. No, you can keep talking. We're just gonna keep talking Diana. Keep going.
Put on, therefore, as the elect of Elohim, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Yahshua forgave you, so also do you. And above all these things, put on love, which is in the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of Elohim rule in your hearts, to the which also you are called in one body, and be you thankful. Let the word of Yahshua dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Adonai. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adonai Yahshua, giving thanks to Elohim and the Father by him.
All right, let's go to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12, and we're going to read verses 1 through verse 21.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Elohim, which is your reasonable service.
So there's a way in which man may desire for love to be shown. Do we understand what our Elohim wants? Do we understand how he perceives love? See, the flesh may desire all types of things. Show me how you might be destroyed. Make a big public display. If we go back a few generations, we didn't ever see our parents and grandparents damn near tonguing each other down at the Walmart. See, we done picked this up from other nations. I remember a time we didn't do none of you didn't see none of that. We didn't operate like that. But we have watched other nations, and they have given us the very individuals who want to misconstrue how we deal with things. They are in control of what we see. Now it has become a normal occurrence. There was a reason why somebody's personal business, they said they came out the closet. The whole part was we didn't know what the hell they were doing. Now ain't no more damn closet. Because ain't nobody hiding nothing. What happened to the privacy? Privacy done went public. There's a reason why there's a tent. Go ahead.
You know, when you look at some of those older movies, westerns and martial arts, you'll see where the two might be coming together and then it'll just fade out.
Yep, now it fade in. Matter of fact, the scene didn't start until you go ahead and read, brother.
You know, I think there's still some cultures, some of them Asian cultures, where you don't see that in their movies.
Right. You can't show those things. because they're thinking about and understanding, all right, there's going to be some consequences and repercussions behind showing this over and over and over and over again. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Elohim.
Right. And if we don't allow our mind to be renewed, we then believe that love is something that it is not. Now we're more into the public display of things more than what our affection is supposed to be set upon. So then when we are actually receiving love according to the commandments, we don't find that profitable. Because we want to see that stuff that they showed on BET Her. That stuff felt more like love, the way that it was displayed. So then that's what we're looking for. So then we'll walk past something real for something that looked like what we're accustomed to seeing. Go ahead.
For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as Elohim has dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Yahshua, and everyone members one of another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, or ministering, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teaches on teaching, or he that exhorts on exhortation. He that gives, let him do it with simplicity. He that rules, with diligence. He that shows mercy, with cheerfulness. Let love be without dissimulation.
Right, and if that's the case, when Cephas wants to show love to his people, but he's causing a problem with his display of love for Israel. We don't display love by being disrespectful or dishonorable in another fashion. Believe you me, Yahweh is going to deal with the nations. But don't think he's dealing with the nations so he can show you love. He's dealing with the nations according to their dealings. Not to show how much he loved Israel. Don't get it twisted. Go ahead.
Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Adonai. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not.
Do we understand how powerful a prayer is? Do you understand how powerful it is doing good to somebody who has done wrong to you? It is actually more powerful than you trying to do wrong to them. Read, please.
Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much lies in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Adonai.
And this is how we realized that he was standing in front of a very wise, beautiful woman when she checked him. And she checked him softly. She wasn't rolling her head and snapping. Let me tell you something, Dawid. You think you king, Mr. King, thing. Okay? That's not what she did. No, she came to him softly. She let him still be a man as she is coming to him and softly Giving him the understanding that so you won't be in a place where you have realized that you have avenged yourself in your own hands. The strong king realized, damn it, I've been checked. I've been soft checked. See, hard checking the king may get your head cut off. And this is something that a queen have to realize. If a queen got a king in their house, you don't hard check no king. You better learn how to soft check your king or your head gonna roll down. Now, I ain't saying you were wrong. But you tried to hard check a king. That's why your head at the mailbox. Because you tried to hard check him. You got to soft check a king. She soft checked the king. And the king realized, I have been checked. And he went on back. Now look now. He came with 300-400 people. He got to turn around with 400 people. And they're like, king, I thought we was going to kill. I've been soft checked. But as soon as she became available, go get her to me. Because anything that can soft check me like that need to be on my team. She didn't hard check him.
Somebody should have told that to Vashti.
Vashti who?
Exactly. Exactly.
You want to go tell that? Go ahead.
Therefore, if your enemy hunger, feed me. If he thirst, feed him, pardon me. Therefore, if your enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, you shall heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good.
All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. First Corinthians chapter 12, and we're going to start at verse 12.
For as the body is one, and has many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Yahshua. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Yehudims or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body?
Right. And you have to operate in whatever arena has been given unto you. See, the arm can't say, you know what, I need more space, shoulder, I need you to move. No. You're going to have to work within the space that you was given, arm. You don't get to move the shoulder so you can have more arm room. Go ahead.
You know, brothers, we're talking about that. You know, we look at the arm and we look at the legs and all these prominent things, and they serve their purpose in that general area. But then some of us got to realize you might be a vein.
Yeah.
You're moving all throughout the body, but with purpose.
But, you know, we want to be the things that's seen. Yeah, you can't see no vein. Unless you drink a lot of water and do some push-ups. Go ahead.
And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now has Elohim set the members, every one of them, in the body, as it has pleased him.
Right. So then when we get to the point that we're going to push something out the way, now we done change the order of the body. When Cephas decided that he was going to show love by showing disdain, he began to rearrange parts of the body. And look at how fast it happened. As soon as he did it, somebody else did it. Now it's growing. Now this man has to go and say something to somebody he don't want to have to say nothing to. But if he don't say it to Cephas, he has a problem. It has already begun to spread. Go ahead.
And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now are they many members, yet but one body? And if the eye cannot say, unto the hand, I have no need of you, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you.
So then all these parts have to work together collectively as one unit. That is very difficult to do when we have been individualized our entire lives. So much, in fact, that we don't want to be a part of something great because it means you have to learn how to work together. We'd rather be 100% owner of the crap store on the corner than be a 5% owner of the Walmart conglomerate. You way richer with 5% in Walmart than you are at 100% of that hole in the wall store on the corner. But in the hole in the wall, we ain't got to negotiate with nobody. With the hole in the wall, we don't have to learn how to agree. With the hole in the wall, we don't have to make no space for nobody else. We can do whatever we want with the hole in the wall. See, when we got 5% of something large, now we got to go to boardroom meetings and actually talk to people and see if we can work out our differences. We actually have to make room for somebody else's requests, not just our own. Go ahead.
No, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness.
Right, because as soon as something don't work, now all your attention got to go to it. There's a part of your body that you don't even know exists. You know it the day it's not working. Because you're in the doctor trying to figure out, I don't, every time I turn left, I have this issue. I'm fine turning right. But when I turn left, I get dizzy, one eye start crying, just one. And they find out, oh, no, this part right here not working. Oh, now guess what? You can't think about nothing else but that part. The next 3 weeks, everything you research is about that part, and you ain't never heard of that part. Oh, now that part getting all kind of honor now. Go ahead.
For our comely parts have no need, but Elohim has tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacks. That there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another.
Right. If the members are going to have the same care one for another, then we can't say, you know what, I'm going to show disdain for this right now so I can show love unto this group right here or this entity. Now we got a problem. And what is our purpose for doing that? Go ahead.
And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it.
Right. See, this is why we want to have the little crap thing on the corner. Then we don't have to deal with no members. We can just be one eye rolling down the street by itself. Ain't connected to nobody, ain't got to ask nobody nothing. Go ahead.
Now you are the body of Yahshua, and members in particular. And Elohim has set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversity of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret?
Right. If somebody gonna speak in a language, somebody else have to be able to interpret so that everybody in the room understands. So if somebody has the gift to be able to speak in a language and it's some let's say some Spanish people over there. Now this person has the ability to speak in that language the wonderful works of Elohim. But then the other people who standing by who speak English say, hey, what you say? So now somebody is saying, all right, what he telling them is this. Otherwise, to the people who only speak English, that was goo gobbledygoo. Nobody know what he talking about. Go ahead.
But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you a more excellent way.
All right. Let's go to Romans chapter 13, and I want you to read verses 8 through 14.
Romans chapter 13 and verse 8. Owe no man anything, but to love one another. For he that loves another has fulfilled the law.
Now, we have to be careful how we're going to deal with that love. Because if we're going to deal with that love, like Delilah, we're going to have some problems. See, if we're requiring, people to go, climb mountains and, swim across the cold ocean, we're going to have some problems. How you deal with that love? Go ahead.
For this, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not kill, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Uh-huh.
Love works no ill to his neighbor.
Wait a minute. So we're going to have to consider not just what love is, but what love does. Love works no ill to his neighbor. Go ahead.
Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
The last thing we think about when we talking about love is law. It is the absolute last thing that comes to the conversation. We think love is hearts, flowers, and goo gobs of chocolate. The last thing we have thought about with love is law. Go ahead.
And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly, as in the daytime, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. But put you on the Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
All right. I want you to read a couple definitions that we have here. Go ahead and start with that first
Love,
one there.
from G25 Strong's, Agape, perhaps from Ayav, again, much, or compare to H5689, to love in a social or moral sense.
In a social or moral sense. Now, this is agapeo. All right? Now, that's G25. Now, just to show you the different levels, go to the next one.
From G26 Strong, Agape.
Now, wait a minute. You have agapeo, and then you have agape. They both are love, but then read this definition.
From G25, love, that is, affection or benevolence, specifically, plural, a love fest.
Now, wait a minute. Now we're dealing with something different. See, we're going to put all of that love together and make it one thing. These are different words. But when you read it, all you're going to see is the same word, love. But this is on a different level. So this is how we help ourselves get confused, because we are putting all the various parts of love together in one word. And then this causes us to do strange things when trying to deal with it. Read the next one.
G5368 Strong's, Phileo, from G5384, to be a friend to, fond of, an individual or an object, that is, have affection for, denoting personal attachment as a matter of sentiment or feeling.
Wait a minute. So we got a whole nother level but see, we keep using the same word for love, so we trying to show the whole thing all together. We don't understand that there's levels involved in this. And then we trying to show one level over here, and that ain't the level that's supposed to be shown over there. Keep going.
Affection for, denoting, where are we at? While G25 is wider, embracing especially the judgment and the deliberate assent of the will as a matter of principle, duty, and proprietary. The two thus stand related very much as G2309 and G1014.
Wait a minute. These are all other levels as we going into other parts of love, but you still see the same word. But it's different words. They just use this one word because this is the only thing that they have to compare this to. But there are all these other levels. Keep going.
Or as G2372 and G3563, respectively, the former being chiefly of the heart and the latter of the head, specifically to kiss as a mark of tenderness, kiss love.
All right, let's go to Psalm chapter 69.
And Elder, I guess that's why some people can't see chastisement as love.
Absolutely, they cannot see chastisement as love. Because we only got one definition of it. Yes, sir. We got one definition of it, and we think, you know what I'm saying, it's all huggy kissy poo. So we can't deal with any other version of that. This is why, how you think big strong Samson get lured into tell me. Tell me how you might be the strong. I'm gonna show you my love, girl. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Right. Right. I'm gonna show you. Psalm 69, and we're gonna read verses 1 through 36.
Save me, O Elohim, for the waters are come in onto my soul. I sink in deep mire, where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters, where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dried, mine eyes fail while I wait for my Elohim. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restored that which I took not away. O Elohim, you knoweth my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from you. Let not them that wait on you, O Adonai Elohim of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek you be confounded for my sake, O Elohim of Israel. Because for your sake I have borne reproach. Shame has covered my face.
Right. Have you received reproach because of him, or have you received reproach because of an action? See, it's different, and it carries different weight. Go ahead.
I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. For the zeal of your house has eaten me up.
Now, this is something we're going to have to deal with. For the zeal of your house has eaten me up. Okay, keep going.
And the reproaches of them that reproached you are fallen upon me.
Those that hate your word, those that hate your culture, hate me. They don't go to the streets looking for Yahweh. They go to the streets looking for you. So they can express their disdain against his culture. Go ahead.
When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment, and I became a proverb to them. They that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkards. But as for me, my prayer is unto you, O Yahweh, in an acceptable time, O Elohim, in the multitude of your mercy, hear me, in the truth of your salvation. Deliver me out of the mire, and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep waters. Let not the water flood overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up, and let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O Yahweh, for your loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of your tender mercies. And hide not your face from your servant, for I am in trouble. Hear me speedily. Draw near unto my soul, and redeem it. Deliver me because of mine enemies. You have known my reproach, and my shame, and my dishonor. Mine adversaries are all before you. Reproach has broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none. And for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink.
Now, here it is. He's going through what he's going through. But he's also prophesying about things that Yahshua is going to go through. So there are certain things that Yahweh is causing to happen in your life that really ain't got nothing to do with you. It's got something to do with something greater than you. Go ahead.
Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out your indignation upon them, and let your wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom you have smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom you have wounded. Add lawlessness unto their lawlessness, and let them not come into your righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let your salvation, O Elohim, set me on high. I'll praise the name of Elohim with a song, and will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please Yahweh better than an ox or bullock that has horns and hoofs.
Listen, I will praise the name of Elohim with a song, and will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please Yahweh better than an ox or a bullock. Go ahead.
The humble shall see this and be glad, and your heart shall live that seek Elohim. For Yahweh hears the poor and despises not his prisoners. Let the heaven and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moves therein. For Elohim will save Zion, and will build the cities of Yehudah, that they may dwell there and have it in possession. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein.
All right. One of the things that I want to highlight there is the zeal for his house. Okay? When you deal with the zeal of his house has eaten him up, this begins to be where the affection is showed. But sometimes there are some past issues. Now, Saul's love for Yahweh was not believed because his past actions were against Yahweh. But Saul, with the same passion as he did wrong, also did right. This is what we forget to do when turning away from our deceptive ways. We think that merely ceasing from lying, adultery, fornication, and etc. is the key to our redemption. What we forget to apply is the zeal that we applied to unrighteousness. That same zeal has also a need to be applied unto the righteousness that we are currently walking in, if that is what we attempt to do. Let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 29. So it gets kind of confusing to people when Yahweh says Dawid was a man after his own heart. They say, well, wait a minute now, Dawid got some, he got some blemishes in there. Now that wasn't in your heart, was it, Yahweh? First Chronicles 29, and let's start that at verse 1.
Furthermore, Dawid the king said unto all the congregation, Shlomo, my son, whom alone Elohim has chosen, is yet young and tender, and the work is great, for the palace is not for man, but for the Yahweh Elohim. Now I have prepared with all my might for the house of my Elohim the gold for things to be made of gold, and the silver for things of silver, and the brass for things of brass.
Now I have prepared with all my might for the house. Go ahead.
The iron for things of iron, and wood for things of wood, onyx stones, and stones to be set, glistering stones, and of divers colors, and all manner of precious stones, and marble stones in abundance. Moreover, because I have set my affection to the house of my Elohim.
Wait a minute. I have set my affection to the house of my Elohim. Where are we setting our affections? Where are we setting our affection? He said, I set my affection to the house of my Elohim. Now, did he bring flowers to it? What about sing? Did he sing a song to the house? How did he set his affection on? Oh, he's preparing for it. So wait a minute. As a man goes to prepare to take care of his house, do you not see his affection? What if he don't go to work but bring home flour? With that love? I mean, it feel better. Until the lights off. But maybe you like the candles. So let's just like the candles. What? I'm just asking. He set his affection on the house of his Elohim. He is preparing the house of his Elohim. Do we not see that love? Now understand, if there's anybody who have an ample opportunity to show his affection somewhere else, it would damn sure be Dawid. Because I think he got about 19. He has plenty of opportunities to show affection elsewhere. But his affection is being showed in the house of his Elohim. Because he knew who gave him the 19. So you don't show that affection right, then he might lose. See, this a man that know how to keep the 19. And it ain't by running behind trying to prove to everybody, I jump off this building, I show I love you. I show you how I am to be destroyed. I show you how I love you. No. What I'm going to do is go and show my God how I love him. And then he going to take care of this other business. Go ahead.
So his affection wasn't to the brick house?
Nope. I'm sure he had a couple brick houses. I'm just reading this. I didn't write this. You know what I'm saying? Send all your complaints to Kish Israel. He brought it up. He's responsible. Go ahead, bro.
I have of mine own proper good of gold and silver, which I have given to the house of my Elohim, over and above all that I have prepared for the holy house. Mm-hmm. Even 3,000 talents of gold, of the gold of Ophir.
So at some point he can just say, you know what, I'm tired of showing affection. I done showed enough affection. I got enough. Okay, keep going.
And 7,000 talents of refined silver to overlay the walls of the houses withal. The gold of things of gold, and the silver of things of silver, and for all manner of work to be made by the hands of artificers. And who then is willing to consecrate his service this day unto Yahweh? Then the chief of the fathers and princes of the tribes of Israel, and the captains of thousands and of hundreds, with the rulers of the king's work, offered willingly, and gave for the service of the house of Elohim of gold 5,000 talents, and 10,000 drams, and of silver 10,000 talents, and of brass 18,000 talents, and 100,000 talents of iron. And they with whom precious stones were found gave them to the treasure of the house of Yahweh, by the hand of Yahiel the Gershonite. Then the people, rejoiced, for that they offered willingly, because with perfect heart they offered willingly to Yahweh. and David the king also rejoiced with great joy. Wherefore David blessed Yahweh before all the congregation, and David said, Blessed be Yahweh Elohim of Israel, our Father, forever and ever. Then, O Yahweh, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty, for all that is in the heaven and in the earth is yours. Yours is the kingdom, O Yahweh, and you are exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come of you, and you reigneth over all, and in your hand is power and might, and in your hand it is to make great and to give strength unto all.
Both riches and honor come of you. See, when you think your riches and honor is coming from something else, then maybe you're starting to show something else a little bit too much respect. Go ahead.
Now therefore, O Elohim, we thank you and praise your glorious name. But whom am I, and what is my people, that we should be able to offer so willingly after this sort? For all things come of you, and of your own have we given you. For we are strangers before you, and sojourners. As were all our fathers, our days on the earth are as a shadow, and there is none abiding. O Yahweh, our Elohim, all this store that we have prepared to build you an house for your holy name comes of your hand and is all your own.
Now, wait a minute. We've gotten together and prepared all of these things to build a house for your holy name, but all of it came of your hand. I'm setting my affection toward the house of our Elohim and preparing, but you have actually given all of the things. Go ahead.
I know also, my Elohim, that you tried the heart and has pleasure in uprightness. As for me, in the uprightness of mine heart, I have willingly offered all these things, and now have I seen with joy your people, which are present here, to offer willingly unto you. O Yahweh Elohim of Abraham, Esaac, and of Israel, our fathers, keep this forever in the imagination of the thoughts of the heart of your people, and prepare their heart unto you. And give unto Shlomo my son a perfect heart, to keep your commandments, your testimonies, and your statutes, and to do all these things, and to build the palace, for the which I have made provision. And David said to all the congregation, Now bless Yahweh your Elohim. And all the congregation blessed Yahweh, Elohim of their fathers, and bowed down their heads and worshipped Yahweh and the king. And they sacrificed sacrifices unto Yahweh, and offered burnt offerings unto Yahweh. On the morrow after the day, even 1,000 bullocks, 1,000 rams, and 1,000 lambs, with their drink offerings and sacrifices in abundance for all Israel.
All right. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 6. Now you have this man setting all his affection and preparing for a house that he himself will never see. Now, we do all our love to be immediately reciprocated by the individual that we see. So there's the love that we call love, and then there's some things that are much greater right in our midst, and we don't even see it. He is preparing for something he will never set eyes upon. But when we do something, we want to automatically receive the reward or benefit from that thing. Matthew chapter 6, and read verses 1 through 4.
Take heed that you do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. Otherwise you have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when you does your alms, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward.
They have their reward. So, likewise with us, if we are going to make an outward display of love, and we receive some accolade, we have already gotten our reward. So then when Yahweh gets to the point of passing out gifts and honor, make sure your hand ain't out. Because you already got your payment. You already got yours. So we only put in for the thing so we can get immediate return. All right, well, you got yours. Go ahead.
So the man with the spaceship was truly blessed on the front. He already got his. You know?
Hey, brother, it is what it is. That all depends on how he deal with that. Let's go to Psalms chapter 51.
You want to finish this up?
Go ahead, brother.
But when you does alms, let not your left hand know what your right hand does, that your alms may be in secret, and your Father which sees in secret himself shall reward you openly.
Okay, so then you get your reward. Well, if you want yours now, then we have to ask ourselves, what kind of love are we looking for? What are we looking for? So then does that then open the door for the adversary, the devil? Because if Yahweh is dealing with a long-term account and we dealing with a short-term account, do Lucifer then come in? Now, I can give you some immediate return on that investment. Well, I come back to the back room. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. I can show you how to diversify that portfolio. You understand? Come on back in. Okay. All right. Let's go to Psalms 51.
Psalms chapter 51 and verse 1. Have mercy upon me, O Elohim, according to your loving kindness, according unto the multitude of your tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my lawlessness, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me.
The very most difficult thing it is for us to do. I acknowledge my transgressions. Go ahead.
Against you, you only, have I sinned and done this evil in your sight, that you might be justified when you speak it, and be clear when you judge it. Behold, I was shapen in lawlessness, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part you shall make me to know wisdom.
You desire truth in the inward parts. Now, this is a different level of truth that he's requiring here. Go ahead.
Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which you have broken may rejoice. Hide your face from my sins, and blot out all my lawlessness. Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a right spirit within me.
When we understand that the heart that we have was constructed with Lucifer as the co-builder. But see, we don't even understand that we need a new heart, a better spirit within us. Because we don't understand that he's had something to do with making sure that certain situation and circumstances was presented before us, and those things help shape our heart. Some of the very things that we entertained as children are directing us as fully grown adults. We seen some stuff at 5 and it's dealing with us at 35. Go ahead.
Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with your free spirit. Then will I teach transgressors your ways, and sinners shall be converted unto you. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O Elohim, you Elohim of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of your righteousness. O Adonai, open you my lips, and my mouth shall show forth your praise. For you desired not sacrifice, else would I give it.
Here we go again. Yahweh desiring, we have all this sacrificial law. And understand, this is happening during the time of sacrificial law. And he's still talking about something greater than sacrifice, while sacrifice is still instituted. We think that this greater than sacrifice develops after Yahshua. He's talking greater than sacrifice, and there are priests ordained to perform sacrifices. Go ahead.
You delighteth not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of Elohim are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O Elohim, you will not despise. Do good in your good pleasure unto Zion. Build you the walls of Jerusalem. Then shall you be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offering and whole burnt offering. Then shall they offer bullocks upon your altar.
All right. When he says truth in the inward part is what Yahweh requires, which he is asking for, create a clean heart, a right spirit within me, understanding, okay, I have made some wrong moves here, and I want to renew our relationship. I want you to read the note from the next graphic.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, says Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and I'll be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
Wait a minute. I will put my law in their inward parts. Wait a minute. He requires truth in the inward parts, and he's going to put his law in your inward parts, thereby really sealing this love here. But then we are being presented with, when Yahweh says, I'm going to bring you to jealousy with a foolish nation. Oh, he really meant that. Now we got all kinds of things being presented. And Yahweh really is going to show his love when he reverses the captivity of the children of Israel. And the entire world is going to be stunned, but not really surprised. They all know. They all know. There's boycotting going on outside of the UN because they all know. They have played this game for quite some time, but everybody know who is and who ain't Israel. But right now, they are getting agitated enough to begin to say it. So although it is problematic, it is also putting into motion the things concerning Yahweh's strange act that he is going to make happen. So when Yahweh says he's going to speak comfortably unto Israel, when he starts talking about dealing with his wife, see, even when we're going to deal with how Yahweh deals with affection, he says, I'm going to allure her to the wilderness, and I'm going to speak comfortably unto her. Yahweh didn't say I'm going to bring her in Walmart while everybody looking. And I'm going to slam my tongue down her throat. No. Yahweh said, what the hell is that? No. I'm going to allure her, see, to the wilderness. I'm going to bring her out from all this other situation. I don't need nobody else around. Now we finna talk. Now I'm going to put my law, I'm going to put my way in your inward part so that we can connect like this. It's not some display where we're going to go up and show blessing and curse and show pictures and you either. It's like kids. Check this box if you like me. Check this box if you don't. It's bad when we grown and we still playing that same thing that we played in 4th grade. But this is what's being presented before us. But when the same individuals have the power of presenting what love is to not only us, but to our children, they start very, very early. So then there's a large amount of programming involved in the things that we see. So now, murder and mayhem ain't called murder and mayhem because of the people who are committing the murder and mayhem. Now it's called something else. And if you allow love to tell you that blue ain't blue and red ain't red, because these people are the ones that's causing the bloodshed, then you got a whole new different understanding of love, and you need to correct it. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms chapter 37. Psalms 37, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Fret not yourselves because of evildoers, neither be you envious against the workers of lawlessness. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb.
Right, but we are envious against the doers of evil. We are envious of the workers of lawlessness. We want to know why we can't have that. We are instructed not to, but this is exactly the emotions that go through us. Go ahead.
Trust in Yahweh and do good, so shall you dwell in the land, and verily you shall be fed. Delight yourself also in Yahweh, and he shall give you the desires of your heart.
Do you even know what the desires of your heart are? You may turn around and get the desires of your heart, and it might scare the absolute daylights out of you. Because, see, you think you want one thing. Yahweh will give you the thing that brings you the thing. Just let that sit there for a second. Let that sit there. Because see, you trying to get the thing. But he's going to give you the thing that's going to bring you the thing. But now, you don't know how to deal with the thing that's going to bring you the thing. But that's how he's giving you the desires of your heart. And you'll fight against the very thing that he has brought to you and said, this is what you want. No, I wanted that. No, I'm telling you, this is what you want. I ain't telling you what I read in the book. I got on my knees and prayed for some things. And he gave me the exact opposite of what I prayed for. It took me a couple years to realize, damn, this what I prayed for. He gave me the thing that gave me the thing. Go ahead, Bree.
Commit your way unto Yahweh, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. He shall bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your judgment as the noonday. Rest in Yahweh, and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked devices to pass.
Right?
Cease from anger, and forsake wrath. Fret not yourself in any wise to do evil. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, you shall diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plots against the just, and gnashes upon him with his teeth. The Adonai shall laugh at him, for he sees that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows, shall be broken. A little that a righteous man has is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but Yahweh upholds the righteous.
A little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. Do we believe it though? See, we won't look at the little that we have and see that we are tremendously blessed, because we still looking over there at the wicked. We still glancing at the wicked. Because no matter what you get, there's always something else. So you find out, you say, I want the top of the line this car. And you say, oh man, you done saved up money. You done did extra time. You done did overtime. And then you go to the dealership and you say, I want this model right here. I've been working for this one. They say, oh yeah, that's the old best one. What? What you talking about? So that was last year's best. Last year's best? So what you got now? Oh, I got a this year best. But I tell you what, come down here. I got a next year's best. What? You got this year's best and next year's best? What? Can I see it? Okay. Go ahead.
Yahweh knows the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. In the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of Yahweh shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, into smoke shall they consume away. The wicked borrows and pays not again, but the righteous shows mercy and gives. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off.
Now, but we have people then using Yahweh's word to then promote their agenda of absolute murder and mayhem. Even affecting all of the voting policies. And we have so-called educated people that are just running to agree. Not knowing that we co-signing on all types of murders. But we do it in the name of a name that somebody has taken on for themselves. This is why when Yahweh does show the entire earth who the children of Israel really are, oh, it's going to be some real problems. Because, see, they're going to realize that our fathers have inherited lies. And they have done some very, very wicked things in the name of those lies. Go ahead.
The steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh.
The steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh. He think he making this decision. He think he decided to go left. He sat down and carefully pondered. But Yahweh was the one that said, turn right here. He thought he made the decision. Right. You find out later, oh man, it's a really good thing that I chose this place instead of that place. But see, you don't find that out till a couple years later. Then you wonder, wow, did I really make that decision? That information wasn't even available when I made the decision. Right. The decision wasn't made by you. Go ahead.
And he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for Yahweh upholds him with his hand. I have been young, and now I'm old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful and lends, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil, and do good, and dwell forevermore. For Yahweh loves judgment, and forsakes not his saints. They are preserved forever. But the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom, and his tongue talks of judgment. The law of his Elohim is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watches the righteous, and seeks to slay him. Yahweh will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on Yahweh, and keep his way, and he shall exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, you shall see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and, lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together, the end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of Yahweh. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And Yahweh shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them, because they trust in him.
Now, verse 4 says, delight yourself also in Yahweh, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Now, most people's view of love is limited by the experiences that they have not experienced. They don't believe that something exists, so they can't believe that certain things are even possible. Love is an investment, and if you don't put anything into it, you don't have anything to withdraw from it. We must remember one thing when it comes to dealing with accounts. If we're going to deal with our love as an investment, it matters what kind of account you have. There's a daily account, and then there's a savings or a long-term account. It is important that you recognize what type of account you have, or you may be looking for something that does not exist in the form you are expecting it in. So if you are putting love into a long-term account, you must understand it will take some time for you to see any returns from your investment. Even if you possess the right type of account, if you don't make daily deposits, you have insufficient love available to make daily withdrawals. We need to understand as we keep going forward, because we're about to be presented with things way worse than what we're seeing now. As it is written, if it was possible, they shall even deceive the very elect. Time for us to start getting our bonus ready, Israel, because some things are happening right before our eyes. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.